Hello everybody, this is Michał Jurewicz, Chief Designer of Mytek Audio in New York, with the news on our latest product, the Mytek Brooklyn Bridge to Roon core. The general setup here, we have the Brooklyn Bridge. It has a Roon core i5 intercomputer built inside, so everything is powered by this computer inside the unit, and there is a lot of processing power that allows us to do a lot of things. Brooklyn Bridge can be controlled in many ways. You can use the touch screen, or you can use Wi-Fi devices, and that will be essentially an iPhone, an iPad, and we also have an optional very small Apple remote that you could buy as an additional accessory if you like something very small. The Apple remote generally allows you to turn volume up and down and skip the song. On the iPhone, I'm now in the screen of Roon, and this is basically the main playback engine, and that Roon remote app talks to basically Roon server inside the unit, and I can hit play and start playing music. I can search for music, I can browse music and find whatever I want to play, either from my local library or from streaming services. What I can also do is I can stream music to multiple destinations, and actually in the case of the setup here, we have a Liberty DAC connected to the USB output of the Roon core, and we are playing another stream here that is basically played in parallel to what we're hearing now on the main DAC, and that's played through the Liberty DAC. And then we also have one more device on the network that's in the other room. It's a Blue Sound Note 2, and that's also playing yet another stream of music. So if you have another DAC, and if you have another DAC that you, for example, want to either compare to the Brooklyn Bridge DAC, or you want to use with the system, you simply can connect it to the Brooklyn Bridge through USB output. But if you want to control the settings of the Brooklyn Bridge, at the moment you will need to walk up to the unit and basically choose that from the front panel screen. We are about to release an app. I have the beta version here on my phone. It's called Mytek Control app, and what it essentially does, it repeats the screen of the Brooklyn Bridge on any device, and I will go now and show you basically the settings. Recommendation generally is that if you're not sure about them, to leave them the way they are, because they set to default, which we found the best sounding essentially, and if you want to change them, then please remember that you can always return to default. So we have a choice of network when you can basically connect to an existing Wi-Fi. If you change the station, it will prompt you to type in the password. You can connect with the Wi-Fi. You can also connect with a wire, and this is something that some people would do. It's recommended if you can. The next setting here are basically controls for the DAC. So first you have a choice of several PCM filters. I now have a fast roll-off minimum phase filter selected. I can change this to, for example, MQA apodizing filters. You see here those graphs illustrate essentially an impulse response of the given filter, and you can see that some of them have more ringing, some of them have no ringing. I personally do like the MQA custom apodizing filter because it seems to have one of the best impulse responses, but you should essentially choose here what you think sound best to you. That I can change DSD filter, which essentially it's basically a filter that filters out DSD high frequency noise, and you can set it at 50 kilohertz, 60 or 70. What's recommended is generally to open it up as high as you can, in other words 70 kilohertz, unless you have an issue with your amplifiers of speakers that sometimes they may not like a lot of high frequency noise. In that case you may want to limit it to 50 or 60. And then the last setting is a unique function that actually we started introducing in our latest DAC designs, which is basically a function we called harmonic audio tuning, or HAT in short. It's essentially a way of controlling the amount of harmonics that DAC output stage of the DAC produces. So we have a way of controlling more the harmonic content of the DAC output. We can increase or decrease odd or even harmonic the way we would like to have in a certain kind of range. It's a purely electronic way of approaching it. It's not a digital effect. It has to do with the way that the output stage of the DAC is biased, how it's powered. And basically what I have here, I have two settings. I have normal and warm. In normal setting, you basically have the minimum harmonics, in other words the cleanest signal possible, no distortion. In the warm setting you have boosted even harmonics, so the second and fourth harmonic are boosted by good several dBs to give you kind of an accent of warmth. It has a similar effect to basically using a warmer sounding analog piece of equipment to warm up the sound, and this function is available here and a lot of people like it. If you wanna use it, you should try that. And also there is the volume control setting that you can choose to be analog or digital. From other settings, I have here screen brightness. I can make the headphones to be always on or automatically mute the output when I plug in the headphones. On the very bottom you have volume control, analog or digital. We have a very good analog volume control. Most other streamers out there use actually a digital control, and you should be aware of that, because when you use digital control you essentially limit the sound resolution as you turn it down. So at minus 20, minus 30 dB down, you may not be getting all 24 bits of sound when you use digital. Now, in terms of the rest of the settings here, we have preferences. You have screen brightness. You can change the way headphones behave. You can either keep the output always on, or you can make it automatically off when the headphones are inserted. Then you have fan speed. There is a small fan that cools CPU. It's practically inaudible at the default slow speed. If it's very hot outside, you may end up wanting to increase the fan speed. For the moment, low is default and completely fine and inaudible. The unit can be a Roon core, but can also use an external Roon core. So for example, if you bring a Mytek Brooklyn bridge to a situation and you already are set up with some other external Roon core and don't want to change that setup, but simply try to use the Mytek inside your existing Roon setup, then you would want to choose external Roon core, and in that application the DAC simply becomes a Roon endpoint. The Roon core is not used and it turns off. Okay, so you wouldn't see it on the network anymore. And then you have also this option for logo color. You can basically change, as you see here, logo color with different brightness and colors, whatever fits your aesthetics. You can set it to that. I like blue, I'm gonna leave it at blue. And then additional functions here is the storage function. You can go here and essentially see what you've got in terms of storage. So in terms of storage on this unit, I have about 3.38 terabytes of available space where I can keep music. I have few songs there now, not too many. And then I connected also an external storage through USB, and you see that this is actually connected, and there is 92 gigabytes of music on this 2 terabyte drive that is connected to the back of the unit. So both these options actually can be connected to the Roon library and can be used for basically permanent playback of the local files. In addition, you could also connect the network drives that you may have on the network. A NAS drive somewhere else on the network will also be visible by Roon if you have that. And one important thing to say here is that to access this internal drive, you can actually access it from through network. So for example, if you go on your computer and you open the network properties or network locations, you will see that internal disk of the Brooklyn Bridge available on your network, and you can simply drag and drop music files to internal drive if you want to do that. We will be expanding it, so generally we will be adding music services, we will be adding streaming functionality, we will be adding audio DSP to actually process the sound, things like EQ, noise removal, headphone response adjustment, and so on are planned in the future. Our streamers are essentially a software project. For the next several years we will be developing those features. There will be sound features available on Brooklyn Bridge 2, and more of those features and in a bigger and more powerful version will be available on the Manhattan Bridge, which is the larger unit coming up in the summer of 2024 in the form of the full-size Manhattan chassis, and also it exists in already released Empire, the top of the line streamer. All those streamers from Mytek streamer line have similar software to what you saw here, although the more expensive, as you go up in price, the more expensive products offer more features, more processing power. For example, Empire has two i7 Brooklyn Bridge 2 has been designed as primarily Roon powered product, so because of that it has this powerful built-in Intel i5 Roon computer, Roon core inside the machine, and that provides it with an ample CPU power that actually can be used for other things as well. And so in other words, while we recommend and advise the users to use Roon for the best user experience, there are also other options available or will be coming available in the form of software upgrades, basically other services, other ways of using and streaming through Brooklyn Bridge. And basically what Brooklyn Bridge can do, Brooklyn Bridge will do all the functionality of all other streamers in a very similar fashion that other streamers operate. And the main function that is necessary for those services to operate is so-called UPnP functionality. In other words, universal plug and play, where the device is recognized universally on network as an audio device and thus allows for connection with other devices that would like to send audio to Brooklyn Bridge 2. And I'm gonna show you a preview of this function. It's not yet available in the current software. There is a way of streaming Spotify called Spotify Connect. There is a way of streaming Tidal called Tidal Connect, and there soon will be a way of streaming Qobuz called Qobuz Connect. There are also options for streaming music through Audirvana and JPlay software, and there are more options for streaming available as well from other services that use UPnP. The Brooklyn Bridge is actually now in a UPnP mode. It's basically an alpha version of it that is not available in current software. I have it installed here on this demo device. Basically, Brooklyn Bridge is waiting now for an external application to connect to its UPnP. I'm gonna open Spotify, and when I now play music, it will essentially play through the phone. I can go to the audio device icon and I can change the audio device to anything UPnP that I see on the network, and in this case it is a Brooklyn Bridge 2. I also have here Blue Sound. In addition, Spotify is offering to play through AirPlay or Bluetooth. So I'm gonna select Brooklyn Bridge, and immediately you see we got connected to the Brooklyn Bridge, and now can hear the music through the bridge with the artwork and timeline and basically titles displayed on the screen, again in this alpha version of software that we expect to actually have released within the next couple of months after it's polished and perfect. That again would allow you to use it with all UPnP capable software and Audirvana, Play and other software applications. As you can see now, this makes Brooklyn Bridge essentially a very powerful streamer, because it can do everything that the popular streamers can play, including there will be an option for playing Apple Music and Amazon HD, while also offering this very robust and high-end version of playback in the form of Roon software. So this is basically coming up in the software upgrades. And another thing I wanted to say about software upgrades is that in addition to the various playback options, we will also be improving overall functionality by adding basically audio DSP in the future. So with each software upgrade of the Brooklyn Bridge, you'll get a little extra functionality, a little polished functionality. It's essentially gonna be a growing product from now on. For the next several years we will be developing the software and adding all this, again, high-end features. We are completely focused on high-end. We want all sampling rate, we want DSD, we want MQA, we want the highest audio performance that other streamers don't offer, that other streamers limit at 192 or less. We are offering playback of everything, including DSD, quadruple DSD, 768, whatever comes in the future. So thank you very much for listening.